Hi, everyone. I'm Sean Blackwell, and this is the Bipolar Awakenings podcast. And today I'm talking to Anna Bijelic, and she's a somatic therapist from Croatia and an online client of mine from last February, and we worked together for a couple of months. Our work together was an important step in the development of my online Bipolar Breathwork training program because Anna and her supporter were the first people that I've done breathwork training with online. As they were both somatic therapists, I thought they would be the perfect people to try out my ideas with because bipolar breathwork is essentially a somatic practice as well. So, Anna, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Sean, for having me. It's nice to see you.
It's been almost a year since we've seen each other, so good to have you back here. Yeah.
So, a lot of things happened.
Yeah, you've had quite the adventure, the inner adventure, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So maybe before we get into the work we did together, if you could tell people a little bit about your background and what you were going through and why you decided to call me, and just get into that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I've been practicing somatic therapy for a little bit less than 10 years. And I so fell in love with it that I decided to change my career and start education on the body therapist, which we have here in Zagreb. It was something that was much needed for me at the time because I lost my cousin, my very dear cousin. She died just in a few months of cancer. This loss was something that I realized that I cannot and I don't want to go it by myself. At first, I turned to do conventional talk therapy, but very soon I realized that I need something deeper. And then I heard about this education for body psychotherapy in Zagreb. So I decided to get on the board and start the program. This body psychotherapy work was founded by Wilhelm Reich, who was a student of Sigmund Freud. He noticed that people with similar emotional problems have similar bodies. So then he started to develop his theory and the practice about this somatic work.
Yeah, and just to clarify with your accent, I think in English we would pronounce it William Reich, right? And
yes,
he came up with the body armor idea, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
Okay. So this is what you started studying 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And I had a lot of processes during this period because 70% of this work was working on yourself. And after 3 or 4 years, when I started to do this process, we had a group therapy and we had our own processes in front of my colleagues. At one point, I felt like I was in some kind of abyss. And
abyss? An abyss?
An abyss, yes. It was very scary and it didn't last long, maybe a few seconds, but something cracked at that point in my psyche. And since then, I had feeling that there is some part of me who is very, very far away in some kind of galaxy. And I felt something is missing. Always something is missing, an emptiness, but not nice emptiness.
Okay.
And maybe 1 or 2 years after, Corona came and I got Corona and I had to be isolated. And this isolation made me to fall back in this abyss again. Mm-hmm. But this time was much, much, much worse because it lasted. And I was alone. We didn't know a lot of things back then about the COVID, and we were all scared that if you take it on somebody, that they will die, especially older people. So I didn't want my parents to come, even though they wanted. And it was terrible. It was something terrible. After 4 days, my mother came and said, okay, I don't care what will happen, but you have to come to live with us.
So they could see that you were in some sort of distress?
Yes. More than distress. It was terrible. Like I'm in horror movie. I was very anxious. I was depressed. My whole body was in pain, but not in physical pain, more like a psychological pain, emotional pain.
How would the pain manifest?
I couldn't sleep. at all. I couldn't eat. I was throwing up even after, I don't know, half a glass of water. So everything was narrow.
Oh, so you felt a narrowing in your throat?
Yes, in my throat. And I had a headache. I didn't have these typical corona symptoms. I had much more psychological things.
So the virus brought about a lot of psychological issues for you, or triggered issues that were already there.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when I was a child, I had meningitis.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that corona attacks the parts of you that are much more sensitive. And it was obvious for me that it was my nervous system who was, let's say, attacked. And the stuff started to come to the surface.
So it sounds like there's a fair amount of trauma from that meningitis situation.
So I went back to my parents, and in 3 or 4 weeks, I came to myself. I was feeling much better. All this period, of course, I didn't work, so I started to work again. And I didn't mention that I started working with the client 2017.
Okay.
So
for the first time, like these were your first clients
for the first time, yes.
So you'd had about 5 years of education?
Yes.
And then you started working.
5 years education, yes. And then I started to work with the clients. And so I was, not just for me, but because of my work, I was always doing something. I was always researching some kind of therapy practices. All the things that I did include body work. And also I did the 5 rhythm dance. I'm saying this to be clear that I get to know my body and my nervous system at that point. And all these experiences that I had with Corona and with this process that I mentioned during the education were very interesting to me.
I just wanted to back up a little bit. And if you could explain to people who are not familiar with it, what's 5 rhythms dancing?
It's a free dancing. You just move without any control. There are no choreographic anything. There are 5 rhythms. First one is flowing.
Flowing?
Then is staccato.
Staccato, like sharp movements, right? Okay.
Then it's chaos.
Chaos?
So you do as you wish, and all is backed by the music.
Right.
Then it's lyrical rhythm. And then the last one is stillness. So from all this expansion outwards, you come into yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks for the explanation, because I didn't know what those 5 rhythms were. And I think it's interesting for listeners to know that dance is being used in a very kind of structured way like this. It's another form of somatic therapy. People want to try it out there. I've heard good things about it, Okay.
It can be fun, very fun. So it's not just serious working on yourself. It's a dance also. It can be also dance and enjoyment. So yes, we were mentioning 5 rhythms, and then by the time that this Corona thing happened, I already knew a lot of things about myself.
Okay.
On the mental level, on the emotional level, on the physical level, and also on the spiritual level. I knew that it wasn't some kind of disease or something, I don't know, like you are depressed or you are anxious or whatever. And that my nervous system is speaking its story.
Oh, okay. So you had that awareness. Your nervous system is speaking its story. Okay.
Yes.
And interesting you use that term, refer to the nervous system, because I'm finding there's a lot of YouTube videos these days talking about, and they usually start with Carl Jung says, or Alan Watts says, these kind of things. And everything is about the nervous system, It's all coming back to the nervous system. So it's great. And that's where the somatic work is happening, right? In the nervous system.
In the nervous system, yes. That is the part of us which we cannot deny it. It's a part of our body, and everything is there. So after this experience with Corona, so a few months I was really okay, and I had this expansion of my consciousness. I felt that, let's say, the part of me that is homeless started to approach again. And of course, my defense mechanisms turned on, and my defense mechanism is work, as a lot of people are. So I'm workaholic. So this part was coming, and I didn't say, okay, I will just go into it. I will give it a space. No, of course, even though I had a lot of experience and I know what I had to do, but defense mechanisms are much more stronger than this rational mind. So I was trying to avoid meeting this part of me.
But yeah, it's kind of funny, a little paradoxical that you're a workaholic, and so you're doing your therapy for all these other people, but you're not doing anything for yourself. You're pouring it into everybody else, doing the work that you need.
Yes, it's paradoxical. Of course, at some point it would overwhelm me, and it would, let's say, grab me, and I didn't have a choice then to let go, and because I couldn't work at the times. I couldn't even get up from the bed.
Wow.
I couldn't eat. Sometimes I couldn't sleep at all, and sometimes I couldn't wake up. So it was chaos. But always some part of me, let's say, it's a witness. During the years of my work with myself and with other people, I built this part of me so I could lean on it at times like this, because in this kind of state, it's very easy to go to psychosis, because you are walking on the thin line.
You're in two worlds at once.
Yes. So this part of me was my stable point, and it gave me security. And I was always present with myself. And this kind of process would last, let's say, about 10, 15 days sometimes. And at one point, it would just stop. And again, I would feel this expansion of my consciousness. Totally, everything was totally different. So in the last 5 years, this kind of things repeated, I don't know, every few months.
So it would come in waves. You'd be hit by it, and then you'd go back to regular life. You'd be okay for a while, and then another wave would come. Okay.
And then again.
All right. Interesting.
Yes. And then this last wave, when we met, it was much, much, much deeper. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I was anxious 24/7. I was in a lot of fear. It was really terrible. And I had good resources around me, my parents and my family and my friends. They saw what is going on, and they were really great help, very empathic, very patient. And at one point I thought, yes, maybe I do have some kind of, I don't know, illness, mental illness or something. And I also like to compare it with some spiritual stuff. So I Googled, I don't know, some symptom that I was going through and the spiritual meaning. And then your name came up.
The Bipolar Awakening. Bipolar spiritual.
Yes, and your name came up in your book.
The new book, Bipolar Awakenings?
Yes, your new book, Bipolar Awakenings.
Available at Amazon.com. No. And a free PDF on my website these days. So go ahead.
I bought it on Amazon.
Thank you.
For the record.
Thank you.
In your book, I read about your work, and I concluded that I realized that I was in a lot of places inside of myself. So I was in contact with 1 year myself, 2 years myself, inner child.
Like your age at 1 year old, 2 years old?
Yes. But I didn't went through this birth thing, and I didn't touch myself in the womb.
Oh, so you're originally drawn to me to kind of get in touch with those earlier feelings? I think I'd forgotten about that part. Interesting, because that really led us into your work, right? That's exactly where we ended up going, right?
Yes. because I was going to somatic experience therapy. I had my therapist here, and she and I, we clearly see that there is some kind of wall in my psyche, and it's like we cannot jump over it.
And you could both see it.
So, yes, we both saw it.
Okay.
And then I said, okay, that is something so buried very deep inside of me. And it must be in this first months or even pre-birth.
Right.
Something pre-birth.
And I've been through a similar process. In 2018, I was going into some very infantile spaces, just doing my own inner therapeutic work. And then eventually I called some breathwork friends of mine and said, look, I think I'm heading for perinatal material. Can you guys help me out? And I went up there, I spent 5 days with them and went through like a birth process,
Mm-hmm.
So
Hey,
sounds like
my
this is going on with you too, yeah.
Yes, my intuition led me. And I read Stormy's Search for Self of Grof Stanislav.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I heard about holotropic breathing. But I don't know, something in your kind of work and that you made this little bit different. I had to try it. What can I lose? Nothing. It cannot be worse than it is.
Yeah, I don't think we agreed to do birth work from the very beginning, though, did we?
No.
Yeah.
No, we didn't. We took it very slowly.
Right, we took it slowly. And
yes,
let me just give a little backup for people who haven't seen it. It is in my new training program that I talk about birth trauma. But for Grof, like, yes, there's trauma throughout your life, but the part that Grof really brings to the table is that we have birth trauma that we try and resolve in different moments of our entire life. And there's like it's a 4-phase process. I don't want to get into all the details there, but you could have a feeling of being stuck where you can't move, and then that leads to you feeling stuck in your life, in different moments in your life. You can feel like your life is being controlled by other people, particularly if you're a cesarean section. You didn't have that struggle out the birth canal or the sense of achievement of being born. And so in your daily life, you feel like your life is being controlled by other people. If you have an issue fighting through the birth canal, it can lead to a desire for sadomasochistic sexual activity, because in that fight, it's a fight for survival. And so you have this mix of sex and violence in that fight, with the sex being life and the violence being death. So, and then when you're born, you can, if no one's there to receive you, you can have a sense of abandonment or confusion about the nature of your birth. These are just a few examples of what can happen during the birth process, and that trauma repeats itself in life. There's more in the training program, but we'll get back to you on this now. So we met.
We discussed, me and you discussed my problem, my issue, very detailed, as I remember. And yes, you said that you would like to try to work with me. And I asked you, I don't know if you remember, but I asked you, okay, I will come to Brazil, sell everything I have, and I will come to Brazil if I have to.
Yeah, you want a live retreat, and we talked about maybe doing it in Croatia or doing it in Brazil.
Yes,
I remember.
Yes, but then you said that you maybe, since I have this experience as a somatic therapist,
right,
and I have this friend who lives also here in Šibenik, she's also a somatic therapist, and we are very good friends, and I have I trust her very much.
And what's her name?
So Diana.
Diane. Okay.
Yes, Diane. So then you said that we can try to work online.
Right. And just so people know, this wasn't something that had come out of the blue. It was. It just seemed to be like the next evolution of my work was to start training people online. I knew there were some risks involved, but I'd already started to train people on live retreats with their supporters, getting their supporters to teach them how to be present, to give more body work, and this kind of thing had happened already. So I thought, well, I think I can take the next step, because this work needs to get out of the box. We need more of a cultural shift. And so that's why I was like, well, Anna, being a somatic therapist, she's got a supporter that's a somatic therapist. These people are ready to go. This is gonna be okay. It's a great place to start where the risks would be very minimal.
And then we had this also your style of working with emotions. I forget.
Yeah, we called it, or I call it conscious emotional clearing. And we had a few initial sessions of just doing the conscious emotional clearing, right?
Yes.
And you seemed to take to that right away. That seemed to be an easy thing for you.
Yes, it was. It was. And of course, we took time to get to know each other, and that you see in what kind of condition I am. Can I really hold myself? Can I really make this safe place for me? So,
how would you explain conscious emotional clearing to somebody who wanted to know about it? What would you say about that?
It's a great way to connect with your body and the emotions in your body. So it's a great way to start to see this other world, this world inside of us, and that it has a lot of things to say.
And I'll just explain a little bit to people that what I'm doing is we do a relaxation exercise and a little bit of meditation just to slow everything down. And then I encourage the Anna in this case to get in touch with whatever emotions are arising, and then to express the emotions physically, but also vocally with long primal vocal tones, and using that technique, almost expressing yourself almost like an animal, like a mammal. And when a mammal's in pain, how they express themselves, like a cat or a dog, just to sort of express that. And then what happens is if you're able to go into that, then the relief comes fairly quickly. Like you can have really cathartic relief of these feelings within, depending on the nature of the feelings, between 5 minutes and an hour will clear out issues that you're sort of holding in the body. And Anna, because she had the somatic history, this was an easy thing for her to do, and probably had some parallels with the William Reich work, right? Like,
yes, you follow the impulses in your body.
Follow the impulses, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and so we did that for a few weeks, and then we brought in Diana and kind of filled her in on everything that was going on, right?
Yes.
And then we started to get you out of a chair and onto the mat, right? Okay, so I'll let you fill it in from there a little bit.
Okay, so we had training. First 2 sessions, I think, were training.
Right. Video
Diana
call.
and me.
Right.
Yes, video calls in which you explained every step, how to do it, why to do it. And after you trained her, you also trained me from my position, because I also had to know what is going on in every moment.
Right. And it a lot of it involved the body work, right?
Yeah.
We talked a lot about the body work, and the thing that I'm teaching people and taught Anna and Diana is that when you're supporting someone in breath work, there's 2 things you've got to be aware of. First, you need to be present, but not interfere with the person's process. And when people express extreme emotions like anger or extreme sadness, our first indication or first impulse is to soothe. It's okay. It's going to be okay. You're going to be fine. And on a physical level, if people are working through pain and things like that, the first indication, again, is to soothe, is to massage. It's going to be okay. But this doesn't work through the issue. What we need to do, and what I was teaching them, is to be present and to provide resistance with the body work, so that Diana would, I put Diana's hand on your shoulder and I said, okay, soothe her shoulder. And she started to rub it, right? And then I said, okay, now we're going to do the opposite of that. And there she just put her hand on the shoulder. And then I asked you to work against that tension, because you want to intensify the tension. And that's where we kind of started with the training. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, that's where we started with the training, and it doesn't take too long that some things from the body start to surface. So these impulses and the emotions. I don't know. Do you remember that I banged my head a lot on the mattress? So
once
it's
we had you laying down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once we had me. Yes.
Yeah, and then I was there to like make sure we get pillows in the right positions and that kind of.
Yes.
And that's what the supporter was doing, like protecting you, hurting yourself. So they're giving presence, they're giving resistance in the body work, and they're protecting you. And these are the things that need to be trained with the supporter.
Yes, this work has to be done with the supporter. It's not possible, I think, to do it by yourself.
Right. But it doesn't take a lot of training if the person
No.
If the person is good, right? Like Diane was great. She was a somatic therapist. It was an easy thing, right? And just to tell people too, so we did a few conscious emotional clearing sessions, just me and you. Then Diana came in and I started to give her training. I taught her about the conscious emotional clearing. That was part of it. And then we moved to the mat and did the same things on the mat, right? And then I think I taught her how to support you through a birth process. Was that how things went?
Yes, that was, because you saw with this, my body positions, that I'm going in that direction. So we didn't know where it would lead us.
Right.
Nobody can know that. But it was obvious that is going in that direction.
And when you say it's going in that direction, just to tell people that the healing agent is actually an inner healer. It's this divine intelligence. And so Anna is trained from her somatic background to easily follow that intuition. Whereas other people, it will take some practice for people a regular person, it'll take some practice to get used to it. But for you, it was like you just took to it so easily. And then the funniest part for me was I saw that was going on. You're doing these head motions. So then I taught Diane the most advanced technique we learn in Grof transpersonal training, which is how to support somebody through a birth process. And you have to hold them in a specific position where you have your armpit over a shoulder and you're grabbing them around the shoulders, but you're not fighting them. You're just holding and supporting, because Diane was going to be imitating basically she's imitating the uterus, right? And she's holding you in a position. And the funniest part for me was I'm training her how to hold you, how to get the support. And then as soon as the support was in place, you just went. You were on the move. Right? And you didn't need any music. You didn't need any breathing. Nothing. You just started. And what was that experience like for you? And maybe you could explain what I mean by on the move for people.
Yes. So it's not easy to explain rationally because it is experience, but I will do my best, of course, because it's not impossible. So I just have this urge to follow this instinct inside of me, to follow this impulse, and I felt like literally like I was going to birth canal.
You're going through the birth canal.
Yes, I felt literally, and in that process, I felt okay. Some periods I would fight, and then I would collapse,
and like out of energy, collapse.
Yes, out of energy, and I saw this thing that I was going through for these 5 years in waves, that emotions and the things that were happening in my body are similar to that.
Right.
Okay. But supporter and you, as you also followed us and some kind of leader, encourage me to go, and
And we had, so people know, we had a very safe space. We've got a yoga
very
mat.
safe.
There's no sharp objects around.
no,
There's nothing, if
no.
you start to project your experience, there's nothing you can hurt yourself with there.
No.
You're on the ground and you got your supporter. You know,
Yes.
you trust, that you really trust.
Everything is very safe. Everything, there must be a lot of pillows. Everything must be soft. So it's really, really gentle.
Yeah, and you don't
sound.
You also don't wear any jewelry either. I don't know if I told you that at the time. But like, for example, that thing you've got hanging around your neck right now, that metal disc, that could kill you in a breathwork session. I mean, who knows what you would do with that thing?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm exaggerating.
Well, you cannot have anything.
Right. No metal objects, because you can hurt yourself.
No. And very comfortable clothes.
Yeah, sweatpants.
Yes,
Sweatpants. We have a blanket nearby. And so, yeah, just to explain, she's on a yoga mat. She's got a pillow, got a blanket nearby. We've got a plastic bag there just in case she needs to spit or maybe vomit, which can happen in non-ordinary states. There's water there and tissues. Did we get all that set up for you? Okay.
Yes, it was. And I did this spitting.
Spitting.
And it was, yes. And I felt like I would vomit, but I couldn't vomit. I just spit, so I don't know, do you remember?
Yeah, I have zero memory of anything. I'm a blank slate. Not just with you. It's not personal. I just have no memory.
Don't take it personally.
No. Okay. Yeah, and what I found fascinating is that from the Groff work, it's the over breathing. You know, in holotropic breath work, or bipolar breath work, typically you're breathing aggressive breathing, and that takes you into a non-ordinary state. And then these very deep birth processes and things may come up. But in my case, I never had a birth process come up for my first 7 years of doing bipolar or holotropic breath work in my training or anything. Nothing deep birth came up. And then for you in this situation, you were not in a breath work non-ordinary state.
No.
I was talking to you, you and Diane were there, you were conscious, and it's just as soon as you got down on the ground, then you start struggling through her grip, right? As soon as the grip was there that Diane had you in and you were in the correct position, your intuition was to surge forward, right?
Yes, it was all my intuition. It was coming from the body.
Yeah, like a somatic intuition. But that somatic intuition can be very strong. Once everything's in place, then it's like the body just wants to go.
It's the primal feeling.
Right.
Or urge.
Yeah.
And even deeper than emotions.
Right. And again, a regular person without any of your training isn't used to being in touch with that primal side. Whereas you were, because of your 10 years of history, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so you're struggling through that birth process. You would have these collapse moments and things. But we got to a completion of sorts, didn't we?
Yes, we did. I didn't stay in this collapse state. I would give myself a little time. And then the energy would come back.
Right.
And then I continued to go through this birth canal until I went out.
Right. They train us in the Groff training that people will struggle, and then they will collapse. And that you need to pay attention when they collapse, because at that moment, they can come back very strong to make that final push, right? And then when they go for that final push, they break your grip going through the shoulders. And then as the supporter, you need to hold that person, hold them on their torso all the way through, hold their hips, hold their legs all the way down to the feet, so that the person can feel that their feet have come out of that birth canal. And that gives the sense of completion. If the grip is lost at some point, the person can get frustrated and they need to do things over again. It needs to be completed, you know. So that was something that Diana was trained with as well. Yeah.
You had to feel it through your whole body.
Yeah. As the baby coming through, you need to feel this process through the whole body.
Whole body.
Yeah. And so how was it at the end for you?
I remember I was very exhausted, and I need her to hug me.
Right.
To hug me as much as possible over my body. So I went to this fetus position, and she was behind me.
I remember.
And she
you.
put her arms, around me.
And that's the other side of being a supporter is, so you're doing protection, you're giving body resistance, but you're also giving warmth and affection when it's needed. In a completely non-sexual way, you're giving warmth and affection. So she's holding you. And very often I've seen when we have a male and a female facilitators or supporters, that in that birth process, it can be the man who's often the imitating the uterus because they've got a little more strength. They can, especially when the client is a man. But in the end, when someone's born, they really want that feminine energy. So it's usually better for a woman to be giving that physical contact at the end, and that's where the mother comes in. You know.
Yeah.
Men are not mothers.
Yeah.
You know, we're a second choice. I mean, in that situation, we're coming second, but nobody beats the real thing. You know.
But your role is also very huge because you have to make sure that everything is secure. So that the mother can relax. So I think that is a very huge role.
Yeah, and working live with people, they tend to turn to me in the beginning, courage, structure, and physical resistance, you know, that strength. And then they turn to the female facilitator or female supporter as things go on in the end, because they want the affection, but they can also be a little bit shaken up. Like, what just happened to me? You know, and they don't want to go any further. They want their mother. They're afraid. You know, they're a little bit, like, a little nervous. I don't think that was your case, though. You were not shaken in the end, right?
No, I wasn't because of my background. I clearly understood what I need physically, and she gave it to me, and I know her. She's my friend, so I completely trust her. So it was very easy for me to completely relax, and to sink in that feeling of comfort, of security, of warmth.
Right. Yeah. Sink into that feeling.
Yes, and this connection between us.
And that's where a lot of the healing is happening, in the love that's there. You're really talking about love, and that's why presence is so important. It needs to be an empathetic supporter. You can't have a kind of a cold or intellectual person in the role of the supporter.
No. This person has to be in the body, has to know what it means to be in the body, definitely. Because our nervous system communicates all the time. So if you feel that something is off, you will not be so relaxed.
Right. No, it's like you really feel the soul of the person when you're doing this work.
Yes,
right?
You really feel. You really, this feeling, this is, as you said, healing. This feeling is healing.
Yes, that is the healing.
That is the space for healing.
Right, because there's
our nervous system.
Yeah, there's trauma there that's being healed through this energetic connection all the way through, you know? Yeah. One type of trauma is called trauma by absence, which is when a person's traumatized because they didn't get the love that they needed from one of their parents, for example, when they were born. Or if you were a 60s baby like me, where they just take you out of your mother's womb, you have to wave to your mom and then bye, and then they send you off to the nursery and you spend your first weeks on earth with no physical contact, you know?
Terrible.
So we had a few sessions of
Yes.
birth process work,
Of
right?
birth, yes. Because after this, I needed time to rest, a few days, so that everything integrate as much as it can. And then I felt that it isn't over. Something in me wants to do it again. And then we repeat.
We did it
Then we
again.
repeated the process. Yeah, we did it again.
And it was quite similar, no? Or was it different?
Yeah, it was similar. It was similar.
Yeah.
Everything was similar.
Yeah, because like you said in the
But-
beginning, trauma comes in layers. And so
In layers.
we're working off one layer of trauma, we're working off a second layer of trauma. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it was. It's like running the same show,
Yeah.
but it was a little bit quicker, as I remember.
Yeah.
It was a little bit.
And we also had you guys switch roles too, right? And Diana, I showed you how to be the breathwork supporter, and Diana did breathing for herself too.
Yes.
She went into it quite quickly too, right?
Yes.
Right away, she was in her birth process. And I'm the spectator. I'm just watching all this, and I'm just like, really? This is happening? Wow. Okay. Oh.
Yeah. It was very, very quick for us, definitely, and she's also very deep in her processes, so I was not surprised.
Yeah, she's very educated. She knew
Yes,
the whole
very
somatic
educated. Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So no, you guys were the perfect people for me to start with. That's for sure. I do feel like you were sent to me, divinely sent, so that I could, it's like, okay, this can work with really smart, educated, somatic people. Then it was like, put together a training program, give people the education they need, and they can do this too. Because it's not rocket science. It's actually quite simple. It just,
Yes.
you need to know why things are happening.
And for making connection with the people with who you are working this kind of work, trauma work, it takes time.
It takes time.
Yes, our wounded ego makes this into a project, but it isn't project. It isn't something linear. We can have some steps, but maybe you would have to return to some step, I don't know, 10 times or even more before you can go to the next step. Yeah.
Healing field's got its own rhythm,
Its own rhythm, and it's much more smarter than any ego of ours. Really, I don't know if we can be aware 1% of what is happening, and that is if we are working on our consciousness, on our expansion of our consciousness. Even though I'm therapist, I'm not done with working on myself, and I think it's not possible in this lifetime. Of course, we are not doing the same. For me now, it's more I don't know, spiritual work.
Right.
Because
Meaning like you're moving from this sort of concept of healing trauma that's getting in way of your day-to-day life into more of a personal development where you're healing things that are not interfering with your daily life, but still need to be healed to help you grow as a human being and as a soul, right?
Yes, as a soul. And I think the evolution, what is happening now, is evolution of consciousness.
Right.
So it's ongoing process.
Yeah.
And from this space, from inside of myself, that I can sit now much more firmly than ever before, I can give space to my clients, and not just my clients, to people in my world, in friends, family, people who I meet on the street for, I don't know, 5 seconds. And I see that people react on my energy, on this energy of presence, of not judgment.
Right. Right.
People feel safe.
Right. They feel safe with you. Yeah.
They feel safe.
Okay. So How did things go afterwards?
Yeah, yes. So we had this, I don't know, 3 or 4 or maybe more sessions with birthing thing.
Right. I think there was about maybe 7 sessions in total.
All together, yes.
7 or 8
all
sessions
together,
in total.
Yes. And I think that 3 of them was birth.
Okay. Right.
This process of birthing. After our last session, I felt that I cannot do any processes, that my psyche cannot do any processes anymore, and that I have to, that I need time to really, really rest and integrate everything that happened. I still felt anxious. After anxiety came depression, but somehow it wasn't easy. Of course, I didn't work for a few months. So this existential fear also surfaced.
Okay, so other layers, and now you're working on other stuff. It's like the birth thing is kind of worked through, and now you're into sounds like a new territory that's very painful as well. Okay.
In a new territory, and but I knew that there are no more processes that I have to do, at least at that point, not for the whole life, at that point, that I just need to give myself time and let all the things that want to come up from my nervous system just to come up.
Right.
And it was not easy to do because our wounded ego, likes to be in control, and this process is everything but the control. So at one point you have to bring
a white flag.
White flag.
You need to surrender.
Flag. Yes, okay.
I hate that
what
part.
Happens. Yeah, me too.
I want some control. Please give me some control.
And you don't know how long it will take. Maybe it will take 5 years. Who knows?
Oh. You can really have a feeling sometimes like, just like I'm fucked and I'm going to be fucked forever. And then that changes in like maybe by the afternoon. By the afternoon, you're feeling different.
Something completely different.
Yeah.
For me, this phase after our last session went on for, I don't know, 2 months. I did some things that we did and a lot of things that I did for my education. But I understood at that point that I just have to be with myself in this condition. And that's it. And that I have to have a good caretaker.
Right.
So somebody who will literally take care of me.
Who was it?
My mother. So I needed my mother. She was here 24/7, and my father also. And we created this space of healing, this space of welcoming everything what is happening. Even though it was hard for them to see all of this, and it was hard for me. We didn't do anything. We would just
be. Yeah, just stay there. Just
be.
Yeah, you feel like, people think of spiritual healing as like a mountaintop experience. But what I tell people is it's more like you've had the rug pulled out from under you and you've landed on your ass and now you've gotten up and you don't know which way to go. And it takes a while to figure that out. And that's and you're going to find that you take yourself to a better place. It's going to take some time, but you take yourself to a better place. But it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a Tony Robbins weekend of, woo, I feel amazing. No. It's vulnerable,
Yes. Yes. And you don't have control. And you have to, at one point, you just have to give up. Not give up on yourself, of course. You have to give up the fight.
Exactly. So you had a few months just with mom. Right. And then where did you go?
And then one day I said to myself, okay, now is the time to start working again, but very slowly, 1 client a day. I said to myself, I will do things as I feel. I cannot plan anything. I will just go with the flow. And little by little, I really enjoy working with people. I really enjoy working this kind of work. And little by little, my energy starts to come back, but not as before, much more better,
Okay.
much more something different.
Okay.
This is something different. I'm really feeling that this homeless part of me finally came home. So now my ego, it's more or less healthy. It's, of course, I really want to say that work doesn't end, and I'm very well aware of it. But it does. It is transformed. Now.
Right.
It is transformed.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah. Great. And so, are you back to working full time now, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
In the beginning of September, I started to work my full practice again.
Okay. Okay. Well, wonderful story, and I guess it just sounds to me like there's a lot of your story that when people have a bipolar diagnosis and they're on meds, for example, it just seems like they could look at what you're talking about and there's a lot to resonate with, and to be like, whoa, like maybe she doesn't have the so-called bipolar disorder, but she is certainly working through a lot of stuff here, Yeah. And just to tell people that, if you've got a bipolar diagnosis, you're not dealing with issues that are so different. You just don't have the tools yet. And you will need more patience. You're probably going to be working through more issues. Going to take more years, perhaps. You're going to have to develop those skills. Anna's got a lot of skills, with her therapist somatic background.
Yes.
But it's not intellectual. It's not complicated from an intellectual side. It just takes practice, Yeah. And I've said before that, and part of what I'm trying to do is create a healing culture, because I don't think that this work is that complicated. Like, the history of psychology is very complex, and a lot of intellectual theories and a lot of intellectual stuff going on. But when you really look at what it takes to heal, most of it is nonverbal, like
90%.
like what you're doing on the mat, there was no conversation happening. And that's where the healing is taking place. There's no point where I didn't analyze you at all. I gave you no analysis. Just, I think you're going into some birth material. Yeah, I think so too. Okay, let's do it. That was the analysis,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And that analysis is enough, because analysis paralysis, how do you say?
Exactly. Analysis paralysis. You can sit here talking about this stuff forever. It doesn't heal it. You got to work on the somatic level.
You have to give a body the place it deserves, because we are not just heads. We are all of ourselves. And only part of us which is always sincere and which is always in now is our body. Our body cannot be in tomorrow, cannot be in our past. We can have in our nervous system things that are going on from the past, but it is happening now.
It's a completely different type of intelligence.
Completely different.
And it never lies. It never lies.
Never.
We lie to ourselves with our heads and our brains all the time.
Yes.
But the body just speaks the truth.
No.
What's Bessel van der Kolk? The body keeps score, right?
Body keeps the score, yes.
The body keeps score.
His work is wonderful. I love Bessel and his work.
Anything else you want to tell people before we go?
Be courageous. Try something different than intellectualizing, rationalizing things. Get out of your head. Get into your body. Let your emotions flow. That makes the difference. That makes the whole difference. If you have that, you will come to the other side deeper.
Perfect words to end on. Anna, thank you very much. It's been a very stimulating, very interesting conversation. Wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And,
And for everybody out there, I'll see you next time. And that's it. Okay, bye-bye.
bye. Ciao.
Bye.